looking at there? It's a program.
This is the Alexandria Symphony Orchestra 75th anniversary. Join us as we welcome James Ross.
That's me. That's weird that I
James
would be
Ross.
on the front of that thing.
He's a good-looking guy. James Ross was, I think we met when we were 2.
And we did when we were 2.
In Sudbury, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's right.
Grew up my best and certainly oldest friend for many, many years. And we spent many years sitting at the piano, and Jim's house was always filled with classical music when I was growing up. And I was born in Alabama, and my parents are from the South, so I was more of a Johnny Cash girl, really. And I have to say, none of the classical stuff rubbed off.
But your daughter plays violin, right?
She does play violin, and she's great. But that's probably the most steeped in classical music that I've ever been, is from my daughter playing the violin. I mean, Jim played it around me all the time growing up. I did my best to get him not to do it.
That's right.
We were like Schroeder and Lucy. I wanted him to come out and play kickball and kick the can, and he just kept practicing.
Practicing the horn at that point. I didn't really practice the piano so much.
Piano.
But I would sit at the piano.
Yeah, and he played the French horn a lot. And you know how much fun it is to sing along to a French horn. Woo! Party at the Ross's house. We actually did. We had great.
We did have great parties.
Yeah, we did have great parties.
Both
Great kick the can, a lot of ping pong.
And we also had a singing group together called the Hillbilly Seven, which your mom really wanted us to do.
I think that was influenced by the southern neighbors, the Hillbilly Seven.
It wasn't bluegrass. It was just more country, right?
It was. You know what? It was during the Glenn Campbell, really powerful Glenn Campbell years. Right. So we did sing "Gentle on My Mind."
Yeah. We sang "Stewball Was a Race Horse."
Which, by the way, to this day, I'm not all that amused by. But it's just so slow. Oh, Stewball was a race horse. That was influenced by my sister, who was sort of the. She was sort of the leader.
That's right.
My sister Peggy, and
she was one of the guitar players. I also played guitar.
And then later they found she was depressed, which is where a lot of that kind of music came from. Oh,
we also had our Christmas show, right? And then
we sang Holly Jolly Christmas.
Holly Jolly for Our Lives. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And then actually there was some staging involved in A Holly Jolly Christmas. I mean, from the time I was very little, I always assumed I would someday marry Jim, and things went horribly wrong. During and I think everybody thought that it was like an arranged marriage from the time we were meant to be. We really were meant to be.
And we probably still are.
We are meant to be, except for I could not live with all the classical music. But I'm happy for the rest of you, don't get me wrong. So...
still come to our concerts.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I wouldn't miss the Mendelssohn. I think I already missed the Mendelssohn. So we did a performance. We did all the elementary schools in Sudbury at a Christmas concert. Just our group, the Hillbilly Seven. And Jim's mom made red bow ties for us out of felt. They were clip-ons. And when we sang "Have a Holly Jolly Christmas," there's a line where Burl Ives goes, "Kiss her once for me," and Jim, and we were in maybe the 4th grade that year.
Right, I think we're 4th.
And Jim was instructed to lean towards me and leer. Very effective. Very effective.
But it was very moving for the janitor, Mr. Colley, remember? And after that Christmas show, he asked us whether we wouldn't sing at his funeral. And I just thought that was the weirdest way to envision the career of our group going forward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After that, we became big funeral singers. Kiss her once for me. You always want that when you're saying goodbye to your loved one.
It seemed like a strange comment at the time. Yeah.
Well, I think older guys, they think, when I die, they're always planning for the big day.
But anyway, I'm just so happy and thrilled that you're here in Alexandria, that you're at the Birchmere, where you come pretty much every year, and that now I happen to conduct the orchestra in the town where you come and tell your jokes every year.
It's amazing. That. Yeah. I felt so proud last night at the Birchmere in the meet and greet line after the show. An old friend of ours that swam on the same team with us, Kathy Brager, came up to me, and I felt so proud to be able to say, Kathy, Jim Ross, although I know James Ross. I said, did you know Jim Ross is now the conductor of the Alexandria Orchestra? And she didn't know. And I sort of pretended like I had something to do with it somehow. Because I was rubbing shoulders with the classical people.
She was writing covert emails to the board as they were making that high-powered decision.
Yeah. Please consider my friend Jim. Jim is he's the real deal in terms of the classical music. He taught me, because we were in the Music Man when we were in the 7th grade.
Okay.
We were in the play The Music Man. Jim was the star. He played Harold Hill, and I played Winthrop. And
he has a lisp.
Ron Howard played him in the film, and that was really the point at which our careers took parted. Winthrop plays the minuet in G on the trumpet, and Jim taught me that. Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now. Is that the Mendelssohn?
Sort of like it.
I'm just not real familiar with classical music, but I will be now. Every time I come to the Birchmere, I'm gonna have to stop by the Alexandria Symphony Orchestra. There's so much going on there. I mean, that's the thing. Like, apparently, this guy.
Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
Good pianist.
Is he
Russian
playing?
guy.
Is he playing with you guys?
A little depressed. No, we're playing his piece.
Oh, my mistake. Oh yeah, he passed away in 1943.
Tragically.
Yeah, Hillbilly 7 did some songs at his funeral. So they got the Rachmaninoff going on. Oh, I love this. Stay out of trouble. Volunteer with the Alexandria Symphony Orchestra. What a great ad.
It's a good thing.
Stay out of trouble.
That's what you can do. Well, that's what you're doing right now, volunteering with and for the Alexandria Symphony.
I'm staying out of trouble. You're not going to find me in trouble. Now, and you got the coming up in January 11th at the St. Paul's Episcopal Church. See, I'm an atheist as well. None of this fits into my lifestyle. At the St. Paul's Episcopal Church, January 11th at 7:30 p.m. Will be the Brandenburg concertos, which Jim tells me were not even written by Brandenburg. He was just a guy who had them in his attic or something.
They were written by Bach and sent to Brandenburg to try to actually get him interested in hiring Bach. And Bach was one of the greatest composers in history, and nobody would know the Graf of Brandenburg's name if he hadn't sent that unsuccessful application letter with those pieces, which just sounds kind of like not quite fair.
No, it doesn't sound fair. And I know there's a lot of issues going on in the United States right now, but this Brandenburg name on Bach's concertos, and hopefully
that has to be done.
Bach correctly, it's an issue that I'm personally taking up. So you got the Mozart concert coming up, February 9th and February 10th.
Yeah, we do our concerts in two different places. One's a hall at Northern Virginia Community College, excellent, College Schlesinger, and the other one's this monument, Masonic Memorial, that you can see from most places in Alexandria. It's kind of up on a hill, and we play our Sunday afternoon concerts there at 3 p.m.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I know about wind instruments is that they have spit valves. And right in the middle of the show, they dump their spit on the floor. And I'm just wondering, will you...
It's not that you didn't learn anything about classical music by being around.
No, I've seen...
I mean, you know the important things.
I've seen the spit valves being evacuated before. It doesn't draw you to the art form. So, wait a minute. So, will you have cleaned up your spit from the Rachel M. Schlesinger Concert Hall before you move on to...
Doesn't matter, because we go to a different place. The spit can just stay on the floor.
That's not the right attitude. That's not the right attitude. No, it sounds great. Now, I only really know Mozart from the Amadeus movie.
Which is a great way to learn Mozart. I mean, that story is pretty vital. That's very fun.
Yeah, no, I love that story. I remember...
remember when the oboe comes in on the high note?
I do.
So,
What's the name?
beautiful.
Salieri.
Yes.
Describing it.
Describing it.
And I remember talking to your dad one time years ago about that movie.
Yeah.
And he said that he felt that the Amadeus movie, and I think he's probably right, was maybe a little unfair to Salieri because they showed him writing music at some point. And he was like, coloring in the dots of the, the notes, and kind of slowly.
Yeah, as if he was, and Mozart was just like.
Yeah. And Mr. Ross thought that probably he was a little more facile than that at the actual writing of the notes, and I think probably true.
Well, we've also got initiatives to have more different composers, including women composers and composers of diverse backgrounds on our programs. Mr. Salieri, I don't know, I mean, he's Italian, so he's not a woman or really a diverse composer.
No,
but
he's not.
At least and now and then we just do music that's not quite as well known, and we're trying to make a case for pieces that we believe in, that we know, but that other people may not know. So that's one of the things that people sort of experience when they come to our shows, like when they go to your show tonight. Like, nobody knows exactly what you're gonna say, but all this cool new stuff unfolds.
Tonight I'm gonna do a little of my Rachmaninoff jokes, and no one is expecting that. That's gonna take the room by storm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there'll be some people who get it, and maybe a lot of them will be all of our guests from the Alexandria Symphony are going to be there too. So I'm going to say
this
thank
is
you
something.
so much.
Wait a minute. This is important.
You're
This
reading
is
my bio.
something I've never seen in my whole life. Maestro Ross.
Maestro Ross.
This is Jim.
I know, exactly. This is what I've tried to tell them. But there are some people who are bonded with the idea of having a maestro, and they like me to be a human being, but they also like the idea that this is something or someone elevated. So I've actually gotten to the point where I have to invite them. It's like, if you're really addicted to that, then just call me Maestro Jim, which is fine. Or Alexandria's fabulous new music director, Maestro Jim. But we're working on it.
Yeah. I mean, this is Jim. One time when we were kids, out on his front lawn, but right down near the street on the little cul-de-sac where we lived, we got into like a physical fight.
Can you believe it?
Jim picked up trash can lids to defend himself, which I just felt was out of bounds. And in my frustration...
It just felt medieval to me. I mean, like, I thought you were going to come at me with a spear, so of course I needed a shield.
In my frustration, I ran home crying. I had no idea he was going to be Maestro Ross.
Just play anything.
Oh, that's one of the new pieces that people haven't really heard of. It's more. So that was the struggle of life.
There we are.
Yeah, see? Has anyone ever made has anyone ever composed a classical song about real estate? That's what I've always wondered.
We should probably commission it for our orchestra, because
So
a lot of people who care about real estate around our
So
orchestra.
someone drives, they're driving. Okay, do the driving music. Okay, there they are. They're driving along. And they see a for sale sign. And they see the picture of the realtor on the for sale sign. That always gets them. And there's a low shrubbery in front of their house. And they see on the sign that there's 4 bathrooms and 3 bedrooms. And that's very important in these times. They slowly drive by. They pull in the driveway. And they go up. There's an open house. They go up. They go into the house. The door opens. And a lady with a scarf tied around her neck talks to them. And she says, spacious. Play spacious. And then she looks into the bathrooms and the tiles coming off the walls. It's just not what they had in mind. And then she remembers they have 6 children. But the price. The price is right. What is this song? I attempt from love's sickness to fly.
I don't know what goes here.
I've never heard of this song. I attempt from love's sickness to
I thought
fly.
that was always one of the strangest titles I've ever
It is a strange title. It's written by Delta. I attempt from love's sickness to fly. Oh yeah.
Can you feel it?
I feel myself flying from love's sickness. That reminds me. Do you remember when when we were the Hillbilly Seven, we'd gone to sing at the nursing home.
Yes.
And Sue Perro
That's
was
right,
playing
we're
the piano,
Yep.
and she was quickly flipping the pages. Sue Perro, who I think is still a musician,
Yeah.
she was from our church. She was flipping the pages. She'd have to, quickly flip the page the way that Maestro Jim just did. Right? And so one of the elderly residents of the nursing home
Offered to help.
just
I
leaned
remember.
over to the piano to help by flipping the pages, and she knocked the
The
book
whole
off.
thing. And Sue's like,
Yeah.
vamping, trying to.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
don't.
I'm so sorry.
But
Funny that you remember that.
classical musicians don't vamp very much, do they?
Not as much, that's true, as like show musicians, where like you're waiting for applause to go, something just happened, and you're kind of like waiting for it to get soft enough so that you can.
But they don't like improvise.
We tend to not improvise, and that's a little bit of a problem. I'm more interested in improvisation now, but vocally, I don't do it as much on the piano as you may have noticed. But still, I had fun with you creating that story, the real estate. That was exciting.
I have a podcast called Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone. In each episode, we have the house band, and the house band is one instrument each time. And so we had gotten, I think,
Cool.
maybe from the Pasadena Philharmonic,
Yeah.
maybe I might be wrong about that, but a tuba player.
Oh, cool.
And so we gave him these, so it's just, maybe 30 seconds of the opening of the show, and then little spits of music during introductions and things. And this guy just went white. He just like blanched. And he said, I
have to improvise?
He said, I don't have any charts. And we were like, yeah, we'll just play, just
anything
and
you like.
absolutely, no.
That's
He
right.
he all but had his head between his knees. He was so freaked out.
No.
So we
that's
pulled
a
up
problem.
on the computer some things, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
But
Give us notes to play or specific things to achieve, and we're good. But when there's no specific goal, it's just making up music. Then you're kind of composer rather than a purely a performer. And for whatever reason, we've thought of ourselves as only being one or the other. I think that's starting to come back together, though.
That's something Maestro Jim could take a hack at. Did you have to, Jim? Was there an interview for?
Yes,
Did you have
actually,
to
Melinda
answer?
was there for a lot of it. Yes.
Melinda, did you ask him questions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff? Did you like put
She
notes
was
in
just
front
on
of him
one
and go,
of
what are
three
these?
committees.
Yeah.
And then,
There were 3 committees?
Well, at one
God,
stage
this is
of
like
the
the
process.
spanking
Yeah, that's
machine.
right.
Three groups of people asking
That's
you
right.
questions.
There were
That's
3
right.
groups of people asking questions?
That was in order to become one of the finalists. And then once you were a finalist, then you would just meet lots of individuals in large groups, and the questions would sort of flow fairly naturally. But there was a lot of producing of information that you thought was important for people to know about you.
Did they ever ask you if there were any concerts where you'd have to recuse yourself?
No, we did
no,
not
we
ask
didn't.
you
You
that
knew
question.
the composer ahead of time, and so you had to recuse
Like,
yourself?
that's right. I'll do that unfairly well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Not
Yeah,
fair,
yeah,
yeah.
because of your childhood friendship with Bach. Palling around with Mendelssohn back when you guys used to get in trouble.
Me and Felix, that's right.
Who was Felix?
Felix Mendelssohn.
Oh, I never knew him by his first name.
That's right.
Felix Mendelssohn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Fanny was the more interesting one.
Fanny was Mendelssohn. He had
Who's Fanny?
his sister, his older sister named Fanny Mendelssohn, who just wrote incredibly beautiful music and was promoted from her father and brother to continue to do so, but to never publish anything and never actually play it outside of her own living room. She could invite people to come, so there was like the handful of people who knew what a great composer she was just really small. And nowadays, luckily, we have her music, and we've been promoting her around this Mendelssohn concert that we just did, because it just seems unfair that her brother would be the main one who's known, and that he was following her model, and actually she played piano better than he did, and all these things that they admitted.
To me, this is Hermione and Harry Potter all over again.
There we are.
She was the genius. Harry Potter was a bit of a slacker, frankly. Wow. So
He had to-
Fanny Mendelssohn's light was under a bushel.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And luckily nowadays we can bring it out. It's just sort of a time when we're recognizing the voices of composers, and women composers especially, who've just never quite been welcomed into the concert hall.
Thanks
That's
to
what
the
people do.
Alexandria Symphony Orchestra
Thank goodness. Let's go ahead and thank them. Thank you, Alexandria Symphony. We'll just thank you.
and Maestro Jim,
And Maestro Jim.
James Ross. I shudder.